It is Friday, May the 7th, 2021. Good morning. I'm Pearson Bowen with the CBC Morning Report. The discovery of a positive COVID-19 case at a local secondary school just days after the new school term began with face-to-face classes for some is not going to force a cancellation of those classes. Minister of Health Jeffrey Bostic is confident that the COVID-19 protocols enforced in schools are sufficient in keeping students and staff safe.
Maybe a month, 6 weeks ago, there was consideration for the reopening of schools, face-to-face school that is. And at that time, the Ministry of Health and Wellness advised against that. And why? Because when we looked at our map, we were still seeing cases springing up in several communities around the country. And for us, that would have been taking a risk that we did not think at the time would have been a manageable risk. However, at this point in time, we have a situation where our positivity average for the last 2 weeks, and I know we had a little spike 2 days now, well, yesterday, but the positivity average has been 1.something%. And to be honest with you, the cases have not been spraying up all over the country. In fact, in very few areas. And the clusters, for example, like the psychiatric hospital, the cluster at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital with the security staff, and we've had a couple family clusters. But we have not had cases even coming out of those clusters all over the country. So at the moment, we are not seeing any widespread cases coming out from any of the situations that we have been dealing with. And for that reason, I would say to you that there is absolutely no reason why we should not have face-to-face classes in Barbados at this time.
However, the minister says students congregating after school remains an area of concern.
We were satisfied in the ministry that the COVID protocols within the schools, if followed, will keep students and staff safe. The problem, though, is after school and the congregating of persons and students at bus stops in large numbers, not observing physical distancing, and in some cases, not wearing a mask. Those are the kind of issues that could cause us to end up in trouble. And those kind of issues were raised by the unions, and we have taken those on board because we agree. And that is why, as I would have indicated at the meeting, that the Prime Minister had given a directive to the Ministry of Health and Wellness for us to be able to deploy more community health liaison officers from the COVID monitoring unit to schools, and especially areas where there's a known heavy congregation of students after school awaiting public transport. And we are looking at it in the same way, for example, that we had put a special unit within the monitoring unit together to deal with the hotels and the hospitality industry, that this is something that we are doing in relation also to the schools, and we will work in collaboration with the Ministry of Education, principals of secondary and primary schools, and so on.
And health and education officials are saying there is no need to panic following the discovery of that positive COVID-19 case at a secondary school. The case, which has been identified as a female student, has triggered intense contact tracing to ensure that any potential for spread is contained. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Kenneth George says the case is connected to a known family cluster. He's also indicated that there may be potential exposure at a primary school.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness is investigating exposures at 2 schools, the St. George Primary School and the Prince Margaret Secondary School. These cases, or the cases in these schools, have been linked to 2 extended family clusters. The student at St. George Primary School was tested, and the first test was negative. We are awaiting to perform a second test as early as the 8th of May. The students at that school are doing home schooling, online schooling, and the Ministry of Education has been very cooperative in sharing the lists of students and teachers at that school.
Dr. George says if it is required, more contact tracing will be conducted.
With respect to Princess Margaret School, there was a single exposure involving a student from the 5 upper 1 and 5 upper 2. And based on that information, we have identified a total of 58 contacts. 2 of those contacts are what we describe as very close contacts. And those persons are in quarantine and they will be tested today. The plan is to test all students in the upper 1 and upper 2 classes.
The Chief Medical Officer has also revealed that a list of teachers has been provided to the school to help give the Health Ministry a complete picture of the situation. We'll take a break right here. When we come back, more COVID-19 updates. Fourteen new COVID-19 cases were recorded on Wednesday, May the 5th. They were identified from 733 tests conducted by the Best dos Santos Public Health Lab. 4 of the new positives are male patients of the psychiatric hospital. Meanwhile, 10 people recovered from the viral illness and were discharged. There are now 84 people in isolation. Confirmed COVID-19 cases have reached 3,929, while 3,831 people have recovered. The island has recorded 45 COVID-19 deaths. In a break from a long-standing U.S. policy, President Joe Biden's administration has backed a proposal that would temporarily lift intellectual property rights for COVID-19 vaccines. The monumental decision, as described by the World Health Organization's chief, raised hopes for developing nations struggling with vaccine supply, but was met with anger from the pharmaceutical industry.
Now, India and South Africa first proposed that idea last October with support from more than 100 countries, but angering pharmaceutical companies. The WTO decision requires a unanimous vote from all 164 members. 10 meetings in the past 7 months have failed to reach a consensus. International trade law doesn't allow countries to easily reproduce vaccines, and nations like the UK with large pharmaceutical sectors have opposed the move, arguing it will jeopardize investment and innovation. By allowing wider access to patents, countries could manufacture vaccines and speed up inoculations, but it may take time to set up manufacturing facilities. Well, the United Nations has welcomed the U.S.'s decision.
This would be a very important decision if adopted by the WTO, but we also need to work simultaneously on the scaling up of manufacturing, access to all the, ensuring that everyone has access to all the basic elements that are needed to manufacture the vaccine. So there are, it is not the end-all and be-all. It is one very important part, but there other things, including financial support, that we need to ensure that vaccines are produced in as many places as possible and as close as possible to those who will be consuming them.
India has reported more than 400,000 coronavirus infections from the last 24 hours, while the number of daily deaths from the virus rose a record 3,980. The South Asian nation's tally has surged past 21 million cases, boosted by a record of 262 new infections. The number of people who have died so far from COVID-19 in India now totals 230,168.
Long lines outside vaccination centres have become an increasingly common sight in India. Those who manage to make an appointment consider themselves lucky.
We had to really struggle for it because I tried doing it last night. It did not happen because to the time I managed to log in and book a slot, everything was booked. Then I tried again today in the morning, so somehow I got the center.
India is the world's largest vaccine manufacturer, but it doesn't have enough COVID vaccines for its own people.
Despite the government expanding the vaccination program to include everyone above the age of 18 from the start of May, the number of daily inoculations has come down from a peak of 4.5 million on the 5th of April to less than 2 million exactly 1 month later. Now, there are signs at this centre saying it's one of the biggest in the world, but this is a private facility, meaning only those who can pay for a jab or who have the technology to register online get access.
India has been leading the calls for pharmaceutical companies to drop patents so it can boost vaccine production. And on Thursday, the government welcomed the news the US is supporting the waiving of intellectual property rights. But there needs to be consensus from the other members of the World Trade Organization, the WTO, and that might not happen soon.
We're really talking about the US position as it relates to the WTO process, right? And that process will take a series of months and requires a unanimous point of view to move forward.
But time is of the essence. Health experts say the removal of patents would save millions of lives, not just in India, but around the world.
If global leaders really feel in earnest that no country is safe till every country is safe, this is the time to prove it, because we are all in it together, and there is a vulnerability of every country, even if it has currently entered the safe zone. If we do not control it elsewhere, the pandemic could recycle itself.
India and South Africa first approached the World Trade Organization in September. Since then, new, more contagious variants of the virus have emerged in India, with scientists warning vaccines will have to be updated to remain effective.
Coming up on Morning Barbados today, we'll take a look squarely at what's happening on Sunday. Sunday is indeed Mother's Day, and so there's a church in the south of the island that's found a different way to deliver lunch on Sunday, so we'll talk to them about that. We'll also be connecting with the head of the Yellowbird Hotel and what are they doing, and you'll get a chance to win with them as well this morning. But Sunday is also Europe Day, and so the ambassador to the Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean will be joining us to talk a little bit about the plans for Europe Day in Barbados and the Caribbean. We'll also get an update on that recently announced partnership between the National Training Initiative and Coursera and how it can benefit you. So that and a whole lot more when you join me in just about 16 minutes for Morning Barbados. This is the Morning Report. It continues after this. Acting Chief Education Officer Joy Adamson says students at the secondary school where there is a positive COVID-19 case have options open to them as far as upcoming external exams are concerned.
Generally, the staff would have met today, the principal would have met with the staff and the students. We know that some students will not be in a frame of mind to continue some of their practical exams, but that is something that we would have to monitor, say, next week. The classes tomorrow will be suspended, and we will be monitoring those students. Remember, they're the exam students for the CXC, so they have the option to defer if they need to do that. So that's something that we will be looking at. The other students at the St. George, they're continuing their classes, so technically we don't think at this time that that should affect them.
Meanwhile, President of the Barbados Union of Teachers, Pedro Shepherd, says the discovery of the positive case at that school is not a surprise. With the return to in-person school still just a few days old, he believes the move to face-to-face classes so soon was ill-advised.
Was indeed correct when we said that September would have been the better time to restart schools, because we were aware that there were clusters and there was community spread. We were also aware that people were, at that time, I don't think they were vaccinated. And even if they were, they would have been just had the first vaccination.
The BUT president adds that there are a lot of risks involved.
The teachers are very concerned because those students obviously would have siblings at other schools across Barbados. And then those students would have probably traveled on transport with other students. So even though the child might be at Princess Margaret or St. George, it might have been, the girl might have been on a bus with persons from Graydon Steele, St. Lucie Secondary College, Paris, St. Paul's, who knows? So it is really a serious situation and one that involves a lot of risk.
Well, the Barbados Port Incorporated continues to celebrate a major milestone. It's welcoming what is described as the Sea of Possibilities, with a new corporate identity and logo in celebration of its 60th anniversary. Aaliyah Briggs has that story.
Inspired by oceanic crossings, the new logo features the stylized hull of a ship with all ribs pointing upwards. This illustrates the port's focus on innovation, while the color palette symbolizes the marine environment and green goals of the Port of Bridgetown. While delivering remarks at the unveiling ceremony, Minister of Maritime Affairs and the Blue Economy Kirk Humphrey says the new logo symbolizes real change and reflects the port's evolution over the last 60 years.
I'm hopeful that we could make change real for the lives of the people who operate either in the careenage or the shallow draft. I think we can make change real for the staff so that they feel much more involved in the processes in the port. Make change real for the people who carry persons to and from in the port, who operate the taxis as well, who are very much important in the way we do things. I just feel it has to be real. And therefore, the rebranding exercise is part of the process, but giving people a sense that something real has occurred is also equally important.
According to CEO of Barbados Port Inc., David Jean-Marie, the rebranding aims to differentiate the port from others in the region and aligns with the company's goal of becoming the most innovative green port in the world.
The key objective of this rebranding was to create a corporate identity, a corporate visual identity that differentiates us amongst other ports. We hold steadfastly to our name, but wanted to create an image that better aligns us with our bold new vision of becoming the most innovative green maritime hub in the world by 2030. We felt the occasion of our 60th birthday could not be a more auspicious time to introduce our company's new logo and new strategic direction.
The Bridgetown port has made strides towards sustainable development. Chairman Peter Odell says over the last 2 years, significant groundwork has been laid out to support the port's future growth.
We made remarkable strides towards becoming a green port with investments in photovoltaics as an alternative power source and a new waste-to-energy facility. The deployment of new hybrid electric diesel equipment in our cargo equipment fleet. we being the first port in the Caribbean to make these acquisitions will lend to a significant reduction in our carbon footprint.
The unveiling ceremony coincided with the opening of the Deepwater Harbour exactly 6 decades ago, on May 6, 1961, by then Prime Minister of the West Indies Federation, Sir Grantley Adams. Aliyah Briggs, CBC News.
Thank you, Aliyah. The Caribbean Public Health Agency has urged residents of the region not to neglect to protect themselves against mosquito-borne diseases, even as they battle the COVID-19 pandemic. During the last quarter of 2020, several CARFA member states reported localized outbreaks of dengue, which placed an even greater burden on national health systems already engaged in managing the pandemic. In observance of Caribbean Mosquito Awareness Week 2021, CARFA's Executive Director, Dr. Joyce John, said moving forward, everyone in the region must play their part in the prevention and control of mosquito-borne diseases. She said this is critical in maintaining health and well-being, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. The International Criminal Court has sentenced Dominic Ongwen, a former child soldier who became one of the top commanders of the rebel Lord's Resistance Army, to 25 years in prison for war crimes and crimes against humanity in Uganda.
He was abducted as a child and forced to commit atrocities. Now, Dominic Ongwen has been sentenced to 25 years in prison by the International Criminal Court for 61 crimes, including murders, rapes and sexual enslavement.
By no means does Dominic Ongwen's personal background overshadow his culpable conduct and the suffering of the victims. It is worth repeating this again. Nevertheless, the specificity of this case, of his history, of his situation, cannot be put aside in deciding whether he must be sentenced to life imprisonment for his crimes.
Ongwen was a commander in the rebel Lord's Resistance Army. Ostensibly, it was in a conflict with Uganda's government for about 3 decades, but most of the violence was targeted at civilians. The LRA was notorious for abducting children and forcing them to become sex slaves and child soldiers. Ongwen was one of them. He was taken from his home when he was about 10 years old. The crimes he committed were horrific, including skinning other children alive. And so he told the ICC that he wasn't responsible for things he was forced to do. The judges didn't buy it. They said as an adult he could have left the group and so was legally responsible for what he did. The LRA's leader, Joseph Kony, has never been caught, in spite of being pursued for more than 30 years across 4 countries by Uganda's army with US military support. The Ugandan military, known as UPDF, has also been accused of atrocities. Justice campaigners welcomed Ongwen's trial and conviction, but say justice for Uganda's brutal civil war has been minimal so far and one-sided.
The government of Uganda, in spite of numerous calls and overwhelming evidence of crimes committed by UPDF, has failed to conduct effective investigations and bring perpetrators to justice. At the ICC level, government has cooperated over and above in the Dominic Ongwen case. We believe that any attempt to investigate government troops would not receive similar cooperation. And so I think it's a pragmatic decision by the court.
In the city of Gulu, considered the epicenter of the war, people watched proceedings from the court. Everyone here was affected, and many say 34 years after the conflict began, some justice is better than none.
The United Kingdom and France deployed maritime patrol vessels off the waters of Channel Island of Jersey yesterday as a dispute over post-Brexit fishing rights escalated. The move came after French trawlers' crews, angry at the restrictions placed on their access to UK fishing grounds after the UK's departure from the EU, sailed to Jersey in a flotilla to stage a protest.
Both sent Navy patrol vessels to the English Channel Island of Jersey. At issue, new licensing rules that the island imposed. French fishermen say those regulations prevent them from operating in the area, and France says it will not be intimidated. Dozens of French boats sailed to the area to protest. They've now returned to Normandy. A French minister went as far as threatening to cut off the electricity supply to the island. Under post-Brexit rules, French boats need permits from the Jersey government to fish in the island's waters. Natasha Butler was among the protesters in Jersey earlier in the day.
Just after sunrise, we're joined by dozens of other boats. You can, excuse me, there are a few exhaust fumes here. You can perhaps see some of those boats behind me. I'm just stepping out of the way. Now, all around this area, there are fishing boats dotted around, French fishermen protesting against what they say is unfair treatment by Jersey authorities. They say that the authorities in Jersey are limiting their access to be able to fish in these waters. They say that they've been fishing here for decades, for generations have been fishing here for centuries, but now that has changed, and they say it's not in keeping with the post-Brexit trade agreement that was reached between the EU and the UK. Now, Jersey is a UK dependency. It says that it's just following the rules, but what has happened in the last few hours is that a small group of fishermen are meeting with a group of representatives from Jersey to discuss the situation. It is extremely tense, though, because the UK has called this a provocation, and what they've done is send two naval ships here, naval warships here. The French have done the same, two vessels on their way here from the French coast. So really the pressure is rising.
In sports now, Barbadian cyclist Joshua Kelly was lucky to escape with his life after he was mugged by about 11 men while training in Bogota, Colombia on Wednesday evening. That incident, the CCTV footage we're showing you now of the tunnel where that incident happened, Kelly was slashed with a knife and beaten as he was attacked just 5 minutes from his apartment. His training partner, Gregory Vanderpool, was also chased but escaped unhurt. Kelly, in telling his story to CBC Sports, said both cycles were stolen, but they're glad to just survive the ordeal.
When I was about to exit the traffic because we were in the tunnel, the first guy, he jumped out at me and he knocked me straight off the bike, and we started to fight on the ground in between the traffic. And then about 10 other guys then rushed me, and one had a knife and he started to slash at me, and at that moment, I knew I had to let the bike go and get out of there, as fast as I possibly can. So I kicked the bike off of me and I jumped through some cars and I got away. And then my teammate was a little behind me in the traffic. He didn't reach the point at where the gang was as yet. So I shouted him to cross the road, and when he was crossing the road coming to me, the guys saw that we were together, and then they started to throw stones and rush us with the weapons as well. So we couldn't run fast enough with the second bike, so we had to drop that, and they chased us. Even though they had the two bikes, they just kept chasing us, and we ran until we found some police.
Well, Kelly hopes to leave Colombia by the weekend, which he says is a shame because he had a major cycle race coming up. However, there are other races that he will focus on.
Well, I had a big UCI race coming up at the end of the month in Colombia, but I mean, it's definitely not worth the risk anymore. Now I'll just have to, rebuild a plan, a racing schedule, and I'm gonna start that off in the US. Once I could, find my rhythm again and settle down, I would, create some structure. On the radar is the Commonwealth Games next year, and then the Pan Am Games the following year. So I was trying to line myself up as best as I can to, be in the top rankings from the early.
Let's take a look at forecast conditions this Friday morning, May the 7th, right here in Barbados. Outside is brightening up somewhat after some showers overnight and early morning. So it's going to be, it appears, a good day today. We can see the horizon, that's good. At the moment, we're under partly cloudy conditions and windy too, 27 degrees Celsius, and the winds are coming from the east at 34 kilometers an hour. There is going to be a low tide at 28 minutes after 7 this morning, the next at 24 minutes to 8 tonight, and one high tide scheduled for 28 minutes after 1 this afternoon. Heading to the seas today, swells calm to moderate in open water up to 2 meters but steady. In the forecast for Barbados today, mix of sunshine and clouds with occasional brief scattered light showers. While for tonight it's forecast in Barbados to be clear at first, becoming increasingly cloudy with occasional brief scattered light to moderate showers. For the Lesser Antilles today and tonight, fair to partly cloudy with a few brief isolated showers. Here's a look at forecast conditions for some international cities. And that's it for today's Morning Report. I'm Pearson Bowen.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you.
Morning to you wherever you are this Friday, May the 7th, 2021. Welcome to Morning Barbados. I'm Pearson Bowen, and a very special good morning to all of you watching us on our Facebook stream, on our Facebook account CBC Barbados, or if you're going to our YouTube channel and you're there, good morning to you too. Our channel is Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation. Wonderful having you company. We're just a couple days away from Mother's Day. Hope you have all of your plans in place. We'll share with you from Cook's Finest some delicious cakes that you might probably want to consider when you're going to give mommy something very, very special this weekend. Or you might want to consider music, and so our songbird Ayana John is back, and so we'd be happy to connect with her in just a little while to hear what she's been up to and to share her latest productions as well. But let's get started with Sunday's celebration of Europe Day. We're happy to be joined this morning by Ambassador Małgorzata Wasilewska, who is the head of the EU delegation to the Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean. Good morning to you, Ambassador.
Good morning, Pearson, and good morning, Barbados.
It is good to see you again. I had some time to practice. I hope I've come closer to the correct pronunciation.
It was very good.
Thank you very much. And, let's start with your story just a little bit, because you arrived here in the Caribbean in August last year. We were dealing with a pandemic and a whole lot has been happening. So you were thrust literally right into the action. How has it been for you so far?
It's been a little bit slower than a normal start of a diplomatic posting would have been, because obviously the movements have been restricted. And I was privileged to do my accreditation in person here in Barbados and in person in St. Vincent. The rest of the accreditations I've had to do virtually. And, peer networking, establishing and that has been very difficult because it's not quite the same when you do this on a flat screen. But despite all the restrictions and all the difficulties that people of Barbados have faced, I have been able to go out and about. I've hiked with the National Trust. I've managed to visit various parts of the island, and I've had some meetings in person already. But I am looking forward to a more relaxed situation where it will be easier to meet and get together with people and travel to the other islands that I'm accredited to.
Part of your mission is to bridge the two, the bloc, the European Union bloc, and the Caribbean as well. But in the midst of the pandemic, the benefits that one can derive from that association, I want to look squarely at that, because I understand that you have been playing a very pivotal role, and the European Union, in helping the Caribbean respond to this pandemic. And so tell us in what way.
Well, first of all, let me say that I'm very impressed how the government has handled and control the spread, but also access to vaccines, because as we know around the world, this is the biggest challenge: how to get the vaccines, how to get the populations vaccinated so that we reach that 70% and stop the further spread. So we have been able to refocus some of our funds already during my predecessor's time, Ambassador Tramachere, and money has been put towards CARFA and towards COVAX that you're showing on the screen right now, towards COVAX facility to help the countries to pay their contribution to COVAX, so that with other states, we are the biggest contributor to the COVAX facility, unless the statistics have changed a little bit since I've looked last time. So the first batch has arrived at the beginning of April, 33,600 vaccines. The next batch is coming through COVAX, I think on the 19th of May. And many people have been vaccinated here. In fact, the percentage of population here in Barbados that has been vaccinated is higher than in many European countries. So really my deepest respect to the government for handling it.
It's so interesting because often these diplomatic relations and postings require you to do a little bit slightly different. You don't have a combination of a whole host of real activity happening on the ground, including the St. Vincent eruption, the volcano there in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So a lot of your work has been adjusted somewhat. The focus that you may have had at the beginning had to have been adjusted. So now we have the eruption in St. Vincent, and you're also responsible for working with them as well. How has the European Union delegation been able to respond to what's happening in St. Vincent?
So we have a very well set up humanitarian assistance mechanism, and together with member states, we've been able to trigger assistance that is a little bit short of €1 million in monetary terms. And this means working through the agencies that our humanitarian colleagues normally work with. So International Federation of Red Cross, as well as UN agencies. Member states have also contributed individually various amounts to assist. And this is the highest amount that we can trigger in a very short period of time. But we have also been engaging with the government in conversations what can we do and how we can assist once the time for reconstruction comes. So on how difficult it has been to deal with the ash cloud here in Barbados. Really, our hearts go out to the people of St. Vincent, what it must be like over there. And of course, after the volcano came the flood. So
Yes.
It seems like there is no end to it yet.
There's so much that happens at the level of the European Union that a lot of us don't quite understand sometimes because, one, we're not a member of it, and while we have relations, we don't quite understand when one nation leaves the bloc, what it really means for other people across the world. So with Britain's exit from the European Union bloc, what do you think that means for us in Barbados and the Caribbean?
Well, I get that question very often because obviously the historical, cultural relations with UK are very special for the English-speaking Caribbean. But if I can put it very briefly, I am sure your relationship with UK will remain very strong, but I would like to think that our partnership with the remaining 27 will grow stronger. So there is plenty of work to do, and it will be to me to try and explain better to you and your fellow countrymen and women to what the remaining 27 are and what are the interests and what are the benefits and how we can bring it a little bit closer to you so that it becomes a bit more familiar, because obviously the UK has been a door into European Union. But let me just say that this year in July, we will be celebrating 45 years of our partnership with Barbados. And we are already preparing how to tell that story. What is it that we have done over the 45 years, as well as look a little bit more in detail into the future, because the partnership will continue. I'm very encouraged by the relationship with the government and the conversations we've had so far. There is plenty of interest. The two ambassadors that you have in Europe will, I understand from the Minister of Foreign Affairs, will now be accredited to more countries, individual countries. So bilateral relations with the 27 will grow. We will be encouraging young people to go and study in more countries in Europe. It is possible to do that in English. In fact, I think about a month after I arrived here, I met a young woman who played. So the 27 countries, most of the people speak English. It is possible to do business. It is possible to access for performing artists, for sports, for sportsmen and women. So I think there's plenty to do. And we are here to stay. We're not going anywhere, and we will continue this relationship for many years to come.
45 years later, we're still having this wonderful relationship. Now, Sunday coming is Europe Day. How traditionally is that celebrated and recognized?
It is celebrated the same way as any national day of a country, be it celebrating independence or establishment. So why on the 9th of May? So the 9th of May marks end of Second World War back in 1945. 5 years later, on the 9th of May, Robert Schuman made a very famous speech, which really marked the vision for United Europe. The idea was that if there is economic and political partnership between the countries of Europe, that will prevent them from ever going into violent conflict again. And it has worked. So we often say that we are the most successful peace project in the world. That in 1950, the European Union, there have been 7 enlargement processes in the meantime, and we are now 27. Sadly, we lost one member. But think about it. We are a bloc of almost 500, the biggest donor of humanitarian assistance. It is incredible, the diversity of 27 countries, 24 languages, cultural and historical richness. It is really something extremely special and unique, although I have to stress that the integration of the Eastern Caribbean in some areas goes further than the European Union. So we have plenty to learn from that as well.
So what a wonderful, rich possibility for you while you're here serving in your term. Now, while here as well, how has it been for you transitioning from your Polish experience to the Caribbean experience? How has that been for you so far?
Well, Pearson, first of all, I was in Jamaica before, so I'm not a complete stranger to the Caribbean, although I didn't know much about the Eastern Caribbean. But the truth is that I experienced very closely the transformation of Poland from a communist country into a democracy. And in fact, I was a human rights activist at the time and monitored very closely what provisions for respect of human rights the country was introducing while preparing for accession to the European Union. So I do remember very well all the good and the bad that went with it. I remember feeling at times that we were patronized by donors who felt we couldn't do anything for ourselves, that we had to be told how to do that. I will do that in a country where I am deployed. But I remember also the good with it. Before that, during communism, we didn't know we had rights. We didn't understand this. This just wasn't the reality. The most important thing was the state and the party. Individual didn't matter. And I've seen the change in the institutions. I've seen the change in infrastructure. I've seen the change in economy and how people suddenly could create wealth for themselves. I know it is possible. It's not easy. And of course, we had a lot of assistance from the European Union. We had the standards that they were introducing, but it also requires a lot of hard work, political vision and commitment. But people also have to believe that it is possible.
You are in this region at the right time, we believe. There's so much we can learn from your experience that can help us at this point in time in our development as well as a region. So I really want to thank you so much for coming by and really to wish you every success with Europe Day as we mark it on Sunday as well. Great again to see you, Ambassador Margaljata. Let's get this right, Pearson. Vasileska.
Perfect.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
There we go. We'll take a break right here. When we come back, there's much more on Morning Barbados.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
There are 13 minutes still to go to the hour of 7 o'clock. We're happy to be joined this morning by the Director of the National Transformation Initiative and also the lead consultant therein, first of all, Dr. Alison Leacock, good morning to you.
Good morning to you, Pearson. It's good to be here.
There's a story I'm going to tell about you in just a moment. Marcel Greenwich, good morning to you as well. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Pearson. Good morning.
Here comes the story straight off, and we're talking transformation here. It was 2005 when an opportunity was provided to me into my ear by that lady who I first introduced, Dr. Alison Leacock. Then in 2006, my transformation from radio into also doing television started thanks to that lady there, Dr. Alison Leacock. And I hope I'm making you proud. I really hope so, because it's an opportunity to have worked with you, quite the consummate professional that you are, and I really want to thank you for that opportunity.
Thank you, Pearson. This is the profession that requires it, so it's always good to see it emulated. And we still have work to do with our standards today, but I think you managed to pass the grade.
Thank you. You're very kind on a Friday morning. So let's talk a little bit about the work of the National Transformation Initiative. You've just recently launched this partnership with Coursera. But for a lot of people who are watching, they're thinking, okay, I hear about the organization, I've seen the ads on television, but I'm still not sure as to why you exist. Could you just put that squarely for us before we go forward? Why the National Transformation Initiative?
Well, as its name suggests, we are more than what our initial name was, which is training. We're not an institution, but what we are charged with is transforming every Barbadian to be the best it could be, to be a star Bajan. We all know star Bajans, and the idea is that we develop and nurture in every citizen the knowledge, skills, and values that will allow them to be citizens of good character who can interact and engage with the world in a digital environment. And with that mandate comes the responsibility for us as an initiative to model the excellence that we want to see in the country. So it means we also have to transform as individuals within the NTI. And you will notice that we have a diverse group on the team, precisely to capture the diversity that is in our midst with every citizen. So we communicate, connect, and draw people into the energy that we want to see across the country. And each of us begins to be excited about learning. There are some traditional perceptions. Some people have not had a wonderful experience in our traditional school environment. And what we want to do is to change that and move to skills transformation, where we are all globally fit for purpose.
You're quite right when you said there's a lot of fear, because change is ever happening around us, and that change offsets us somewhat. And so as a consequence, everybody becomes a little bit uncertain. And with the whole pandemic, it's now thrust us into a different sphere, the digital landscape. And talk to me a little bit about how the National Transformation Initiative is going to help Barbadians grapple with that real change in how we execute what we do.
Well, I think there are a couple of things. First of all, we were catapulted into the digital transformation as we were establishing our office, a team ready. The pandemic hit, and the Prime Minister, being proactive, was already planning for Barbados's response once COVID arrived in Barbados. And that challenged us to ensure that we had online courses. So immediately we had to kick into gear and develop authentic e-courses. What the rest of the world, and indeed right here in Barbados, we were doing was really responding with emergency remote teaching. So the online courses were the first opportunity for us to introduce Barbadians to what is not a normal orientation. We don't readily go towards online learning. But this is the way of the future. Online learning, perhaps blended in some instances, and that is where the attraction with Coursera emerged, because they, are the largest online learning platform in the world, but they also have an ethos that aligns with ours at the NTI, which is to enable people, to excite them, to engage them, to make them want to learn at any age, because we also have some mindsets and stereotypes that only young people need to learn, and only our frontline staff or our entry-level staff need to be retrained and reskilled. We're really also charged with reskilling, empowering, retooling, and enfranchising everyone, the reprogram, as our PM calls it. And that is intended to move past ticking the box to get a certificate. We've done that quite well over the years, and some professions require it. We understand that. But what we have lost is the nexus between not just the certificate for the certificate's sake, but adding the value. So the digitalization requires us to match that with human skills. And we'll see, you can have 98 million jobs in the digital sphere. But what we are forgetting is the potential for 3.3 billion jobs with human skills. The communication, the creative thinking, problem solving, collaboration, being agile and flexible. These are the things that will distinguish us as a country and as a people to be competitive globally.
And this is where Coursera comes into play. Marcel, good to see you again after all these years as well. Talk to me a little bit about the partnership and squarely put for Barbadians how they can see tangible benefits by being a part of this transformative initiative by the association with Coursera.
Thank you, Pearson. There is no gainsaying the kind of strength that we now have behind us with the world's largest online learning platform. So the partnership with NTI affords Barbadians, as a result of the financial commitment of government, the opportunity to leapfrog, as I always say, into the kinds of skills that are relevant, we think, in the future, but are also relevant now. And so to be able to access those courses with the help of our partners at Coursera means that we can do it at scale. It no longer requires that we have a finite number of people who can access courses. We want people to be able to access courses at the level of proficiency that they have. So we have courses at the beginner level, at the intermediate level, at the advanced level, so that they can find a niche wherever they are and start where they are and upskill. And for those who are perhaps more advanced, to deep skill, and for those who have never tried, to start learning in some areas where they see an interest, where we have identified opportunities for them. And we believe that as we continue to do this, because it's an iterative process, we continue to build on the skill areas, on the core subject areas, we would be able to help to develop our knowledge and skills base as a country.
So that it doesn't scare people, just give us a sense as to what's offered really, because when people think digital, they think it's for a certain kind of person, and that is not the purpose of the Transformation Initiative. So tell us a little bit about, in practical ways, how Miss Brown Down the Gap can help and benefit from this association.
Well, let me start by saying something that I have had to say to someone who said to me she was totally terrified of digital. And I said to her, do you have a phone? She said, yes. I said, do you text? She said, yes. I said, well, do you understand that you're already involved? So it did not occur to her that she was already part of that ecosystem of using digital communication. So it is not that, and I understand that there are people who may be concerned, who may be afraid, who may be intimidated, but they don't need to be, and we are here to also help them through that. So for that person who is a beginner, and we mentioned in our launch the rollout, for example, of the Coursera Social Impact Scholarships, which are designed to help those who might not otherwise be thinking of their opportunity in this particular context to enter the digital space by way of certification in scholarships that are offered through Google. It does not require that you have pre-existing or be pre-qualified to enter that stream. There are courses that are there that within a 6-month period, people are able, with commitment to the course, to qualify for entry-level positions. So when you move from 0 to 6 months later, being able to qualify for a position in project management or user experience or using Python, these are things that people might think, I can't do that. But in truth, they can.
So
yes,
for anyone who wants to know the range of possibilities, what courses are offered, how can we access that information?
Well, to get into Coursera's platform through the NTI, you can log on to nti.org.bb. And if you are uncertain about how to reach us, just click on that beautiful design that you see at the top with the artist. It's a beautiful black and gold. And if you just click on that, it takes you to your landing page. And that is the gateway into the Coursera NTI platform. You will join for free, and you'll see that at the top. Join for free. And then you will scroll down. And if you perhaps didn't quite log in the way that we had hoped, you will see again a section that says new users. There's a button there that says new users. If you're new to the platform, you will click on that and register your information there. And once you do that, then you will be able to select the courses from our directory. We have a number of skills. They are a number of courses. There are skills for global success. There's the Coursera Social Impact Scholarship that I mentioned. There are opportunities to grow, change, advance your career, as well as improve your business. And then there are also those other courses that are built out for the creative or orange economy, as well as the blue and green economies.
So there's
now,
something.
Because we were also,
there's something for
I didn't
everyone.
mention one. In fact, yes, there is something for another group of people as well. There is also the Tourism Academy. As you know, the NTI has a remit that involves upskilling the tourism sector. And we have already been doing quite a lot of training under BEST. We've got as many as 1,600 people already trained, and some are still in training. But that Tourism Academy also has a fully fleshed out set of courses that are designed to support the tourism sector.
Right. So it's really great to create the star page. And so, Dr. Legal, I'll end with you. I'll give you 30 seconds. I know you're a broadcaster, so you know what 30 seconds feel like. Just put into context why we should engage in this. Why is this great for Barbadians?
Well, for one thing, we are in a moment of flux, and this is a tremendous opportunity for us to ensure that when we stabilize, whenever that comes, and even when we don't, that we have options, that we have the tools to navigate and take advantage of the opportunities that digitalization and COVID as disruptions have presented for us as a country. We're a small nation, but we want to distinguish ourselves in a way that we are competitive with the rest of the world. This is an opportunity for 120,000 Barbadians to really sharpen all of their skills and ensure that we are star Bajans. So we think that this is an opportunity and a partnership ideally made for us. This is a partnership with an entity that has 77 million users globally, 50 plus industry partners, and over 200 universities giving these certificates with NTI. So there's absolutely nothing stopping us. NTI.org.bb is your gateway to the world through Coursera. And I think that there are a lot of options for every Barbadian.
Well said. Thank you so much, Dr. Alison Leacock, who is the Director of the National Transformation Initiative, and Marcel Greenidge, the NTI's Coursera Communications Lead. We encourage you to go to the website and get engaged. Barbadians, it's going to make a world of difference to each of us. Thank you so much for joining us, ladies.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Right, let's take a look at today's good decision of the day, brought to you by Glucerna with those nutrients to support your immune system. It says today, stop thinking about the problem. Stop. When you're faced with a tough choice, like whether to move to a new city or change careers, you might spend a lot of time thinking about the pros and cons or the potential risk and reward. Weighing the pros and cons for too long may increase your stress level to the point that you struggle to make a decision. So, non-conscious thinking is surprisingly astute. So consider sleeping on a problem. Simple. Stop thinking about the problem. That's our good decision of the day, brought to you by Glucerna with those nutrients to support your immune system. After this, the news.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Let's catch you up on the news now. The discovery of a positive COVID-19 case at a local secondary school just days after the new school term with face-to-face classes for some students is not going to force the cancellation of those classes. Minister of Health Jeffrey Bostick is confident that the COVID-19 protocols enforced at schools are sufficient to keep the students and staff safe.
Maybe a month, 6 weeks ago, there was consideration for the reopening of schools, face-to-face school that is. And at that time, the Ministry of Health and Wellness advised against that. And why? Because when we looked at our map, we were still seeing cases springing up in several communities around the country. And for us, that would have been taking a risk that we did not think at the time would have been a manageable risk. However, at this point in time, we have a situation where our positivity average for the last 2 weeks, and I know we had a little spike 2 days now, well, yesterday, but the positivity average has been 1 point something percent. And to be honest with you, the cases have not been spraying out all over the country. In fact, in very few areas. And the clusters, for example, like the psychiatric hospital, the cluster at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital with the security staff, and we've had a couple family clusters. But we have not had cases even coming out of those clusters all over the country. So at the moment, we are not seeing any widespread cases coming out from any of the situations that we have been dealing with. And for that reason, I would say to you that there is absolutely no reason why we should not have face-to-face classes in Barbados at this time.
Health and education officials are saying there's no need to panic following the discovery of that positive case at a secondary school. The case has been identified as a female student who triggered intense contact tracing to ensure that any potential risk for spread is contained. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Kenneth George says the case is connected to a known family cluster. He's also indicated that there may be potential exposure at a primary school.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness is investigating exposures at 2 schools, the St. George Primary School and the Prince Margaret Secondary School. These cases, or the cases in these schools, have been linked to 2 extended family clusters. The student at St. George Primary School was tested and the first test was negative. We are awaiting to perform a second test as early as the 8th of May. The students at that school are doing homeschooling, online schooling, and the Ministry of Education has been very cooperative in sharing the lists of students and teachers at that school.
Well, Acting Chief Education Officer Joy Adamson says students at the secondary school where the positive case is have options open to them as far as upcoming external exams are concerned.
Generally, the staff would have met today, the principal would have met with the staff and the students. We know that some students will not be in a frame of mind to continue some of their practical exams, but that is something that we would have to monitor, say, next week. The classes tomorrow will be suspended and we will be monitoring those students. Remember, they're the exam students for the CXC, so they have the option to defer if they need to do that. So that's something that we will be looking at. The other students at the St. George, they're continuing their classes, so technically we don't think at this time that that should affect them.
That's our news till now. More news coming up at 12 noon in the CBC Newsday. We'll take a break right here when Morning Barbados continues our Crumbs question of the day.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's 10 after 7, time for you to be a winner now. Get on your phone. Call me now on 228-5562 or 228-5563 because it's time for Crumb's Question of the Day. Here comes Crumb's Question of the Day. You can do this. What is the number to order from Crispy's Fried Chicken? What is the number you call to order from Crispy Fried Chicken? What is the number that you would call to order from Crispy Fried Chicken? I'm sure some of you, maybe all of you, know the answer. So get cracking right now. 228-5562 or 228-5563. Become a winner today with Crumb's Bakery. All right. Coming up on Sunday is Mother's Day, and traditionally the Christchurch Parish Church would have had their big Mother's Day luncheon in the Ivan Harewood Centre. And all of you would have gone there and ordered your lunch and sat and eaten it and enjoy a wonderful day out. But they're doing something slightly differently this year. Paige Bryan, who is going to join us now to talk a little bit about that. Paige, good morning to you.
Good morning, Pearson. How are you?
I am great, Paige. Long time no see, girl.
It is true. How are you doing? You really look well.
You do too. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So Paige, now as I set up just now, traditionally people would come sit in the Ivan Harewood Centre and have a great time on Mother's Day. But this year, the church is doing something vastly different. How is it that we're going to celebrate Mother's Day on Sunday with Christchurch Parish Church, but in a very safe way?
So this year, we've decided that we will do a drive-through lunch. So rather than come and sit, which we know cannot happen because of the pandemic, and we wanted to continue our celebration of mothers. We didn't have it last year due to the lockdown and the COVID protocols, etc. But as they're relaxed a little this year, we're going to have a drive-through, curbside pickup, or delivery. So we're delivering to areas such as Silver Hill, Gall Hill, Kendall Hill, Cane Vale, Maxwell, Durance, Kingsland, and the Wotton areas, which are close in the catchment of the Christchurch Parish Church. We will also facilitate, as I said, drive-through and curbside pickup. And what we've done, we've organized it so that there are 4 half-hour slots for pickup. That way, you do not have to wait an inordinate time. We want it to flow smoothly, and when you order your tickets, you determine the time that you want to pick up. So you can pick up from 12 to 12:30, 12:30 to 1, 1 to 1:30, 1:30 to 2. However, the 12:30 to 1 slots are all gone. The tickets are color coordinated based on the time slot that you are picking up. So that will allow us to have a smooth process on the day.
So we call and we book our lunch, and then we also arrange with you and determine a time at which we'd like to pick up. And based on that, we get a color-coded ticket that tells us, okay, Pearson, your pickup is between 12 and 12:30. If, however, for whatever reason, God forbid, I'm not able to make it during 12 and 12:30, what happens to me?
Well, when you come, we will still facilitate you. It is not that we will tell you you're supposed to pick up at 1 and you're here early. As long as we finish with the 12 to 12:30, we will then facilitate you as well. Or if there's a lull in between, we will facilitate you.
So the logistics you've really sat down and you've thought through, because the last thing one wants is a traffic jam. The last
exactly.
thing,
We will have persons on site who will direct the parking and will direct where you should wait. Persons will come out to you. They will take your ticket and your information, go back inside, bring out your lunch. The other thing that I want to note is that when you call to book your tickets, you can specify any dietary needs that you may have. So, for example, if you do not eat chicken, you can say, I want to take 4 full lunches and 1 with fish only. Or if you are allergic to something, for example, I have a friend who is allergic to pineapple, you can say, I do not want sweet potato pie on one. So those options are available to you as well.
So you call the office, or can I walk to the office and place my order?
Yes, you can go to the office at the Christchurch Parish Church, or you can call 428-8087 or 243-2375. So I will repeat those numbers again, 428-8087 or 243-2375. and place your order for tickets.
You call that number like a good banker, girl. You know, that's the way we used to do it. You know, the first three digits, then the
Exactly.
last four.
Yes.
You hear it so differently, indeed. So you can call 428-8087 or 243-2375. This sounds really,
Yes.
really good. And of course, if you want delivery, you state that up front as well. Is there an
Yes.
additional fee for delivery, by the way?
No, there isn't. That's complimentary. We have persons who will be delivering, and so those persons will know upfront what area they're delivering to, and we will get in contact with you, get the directions, etc., and we will deliver to you. Or, you know, it's a technological age, so you can WhatsApp, you can pin your location, as I'm told by the young people.
You know, it got me good too. Pin your location. This sounds as if you've really given full thought to how it will be executed, and it sounds as if it's going to work really, really well. I love the fact that the church is finding non-traditional ways and different ways of doing what you're doing already. This is all part of your outreach and your ministry through your Mother's
Yes,
Day
it
luncheon.
is.
And rather than sit
It is.
inside, you can have it delivered to you. You can drive and pick it up, curbside pickup. You can do all of those different things. But you know, the number to call now, because by the way, when do bookings end?
Bookings will end Saturday. Well, with the WhatsApp number, you can call and book anytime. But the office will close at 1, but you can still call on the cell phone number. It is important to note that we will not be selling tickets on the day of the lunch.
Which is Sunday.
And we've only done 200 this year. Normally we would do between 4 to 450, but we've only done 200 because we don't want to have a situation, yes, overwhelm the process. So we think that 200 is manageable for a drive-through pickup lunch.
It sounds so good. For folks, get cracking, 428-8087 or 243-2375. You have until the end of business tomorrow, because on Sunday you cannot place an order. They're not taking that order on Sunday. Paige, as usual, great to see you. Thank you so much. I wish every success with this effort by the Christchurch Parish Church, and I hope everybody enjoys lunch on Sunday. And to you, happy Mother's Day too.
Thank you, Pearson, and
You're
it's
welcome.
good to be here. Thank you for facilitating us.
You're very welcome, my friend. Have a good day.
You too. Take care.
There you go. Paige Bryan is her name. We used to work together for a little while in the bank, so we had loads of fun working together. So I know this is going to be a great one indeed. 18 after the hour. We'll take a break right here. When we come back, yes, the Barbados Heart and Stroke. Oh, yeah. We got to get a winner. We have to Pearson Boyd. Let's do this. Let's see if we have a winner to our Crumbs question of the day today. The question is, what is the number to order from Crispy Fried Chicken? What is that number? The number to call Crispy Fried Chicken to place an order is 537-4790. 537-4790. Sheldine Padmore, you called it yesterday. Something tells me you did. Sheldine Padmore, well done. Do you have it written down, Sheldine? Congratulations to you. You are a winner today with Crumbs Bakery. Well done, Sheldine, for engaging with us. Now, the break. And when we come back, let's talk Heart and Stroke Foundation and childhood obesity prevention.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
I just love that intro. Just love it, love it, love it. 20 minutes after the hour of 7. You know we're in Child Month, right? And in celebration of Child Month 2021, the Heart and Stroke Foundation of Barbados, their Childhood Obesity Prevention Program, they're bringing greater awareness to good health and nutrition for our children. And we're having our quiz. This is where we get crazy, folks. So your turn to call me now on 228-5562 or 228-5563 to answer correctly this question, if you can. The question today is, calcium is a mineral known for building strong what? Do you know? Calcium is a mineral known for building strong what? What? 228-5562 or 228-5563. Let's see if you know. And if you do know, you will get to win with the Barbados Heart and Stroke Foundation. Good morning to you. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good.
What's your first name?
Ariana.
Ariana, pleasure meeting you this morning, Ariana. How old are you?
9 years old.
Oh, okay, you can handle this question, I think. You see the question on your TV? It says, calcium is a mineral known for building strong what? What's your answer?
Bones.
Is that all?
Yes.
You sure? Ariana, you're missing one more thing. One more thing. Go ahead.
Teeth.
Beg your pardon?
Teeth.
So Ariana, who telling you this? Who's talking to you?
No one.
No one? You are absolutely right, Miss Ariana. Bones and teeth. You're absolutely right. Do you get a chance to drink your milk and all of those kinds of things?
Yes, please.
Are you also drinking lots of water, Ariana?
Yes, please.
How many glasses of water a day should you drink?
8.
Ariana, you're on the ball, girl. You're absolutely right. You should have at least 8 glasses of water a day. It really does your body good. And through your consumption of your calcium, you're building up your bones and your teeth. Ariana, don't put down the phone. You stay right there on the phone, okay? Someone will talk to you, not me. Someone else will talk to you in a moment, and they'll arrange with you your winnings. So Ariana is absolutely right. Bones and teeth. Calcium is that mineral that is known for building strong bones and strong teeth. Yes. Consider it today. All part of the Barbados Heart and Stroke Foundation's effort to continue to bring greater awareness to good health and nutrition for our children in their childhood obesity prevention quiz with us on Morning Barbados. It's Friday, so you know it continues on Monday. We'll take a break right here, and when we come back, there's so much more and so delicious coming from Cook's Finest.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
25 minutes after the hour of 7 o'clock now. He's just done the other up. We're talking about Caleb Cook, the owner of Cook's Finest. Caleb, good morning to you.
Hi, good morning, person. Good morning, Barbados.
Well, you look different here.
How different?
From the last time we met. Don't worry. Yeah, because
Oh.
you know the sides.
Uh-huh.
So there you are now, and it's so good. Since the last time we met, you were saying you were so cautious about talking to us a little bit because things are looking a little bit different for you. But now the sun is rising yet again on Cook's Finest. Tell us what's the latest.
Okay, so the latest is we have our new cafe. We're located on the first floor of the KFC building in Warrens. And I mean, it has been an amazing almost 3 months, but a crazy 3 months too, because trust me, a lot went into this project. But nevertheless, it came out just how I wanted it to come out, and we're here now.
Mother's Day is literally days away, just a couple of days away. And so lunch is one option, but cakes, one can't go wrong with a cake for sure. And we thought we should turn to the master of them all. So what are some of the options available for Mother's Day by way of cakes?
Okay, so for Mother's Day, we're actually open on the Saturday and the Sunday. We open from 7 in the morning because we're obviously serving breakfast. And we go right up until 9. So the specials that we have the Mother's Day cupcake special where you get 6 cupcakes for $15. We also have some gourmet strawberries. And we also have our Mother's Day mini cakes, and it's available in 4 flavors, which is God is a Woman. That's the cupcake special there. So the mini cakes is God is a Woman, there's the red velvet, there's the vanilla, and there's the chocolate.
That one on the screen there just now in the middle photograph right
Well,
there.
that is Mother's Day gift box. So that one, you would have had to actually pre-order that one. So that won't be available in store when you walk in. But as I said, you can get the cupcakes. You can also get gourmet strawberries.
You know what? When I look at that, what I'm seeing a group of women in church in their hats. I'm sorry.
Interesting.
Interesting. I am not the only one who sees it that way, I must tell you. It just looks like a congregation in church, but it looks delicious indeed and very decadent indeed. And it's a great way to treat mom, to give her something sweet and savory as well for Mother's Day. So you can either get the box, the set that you order, and you can determine the different flavors that you like. Can you?
Yes, you can.
All right. So she can get the box or she can get the whole big cake. There's some women who just like to look at having this big centerpiece of a cake, well iced, and knowing that underneath that is, for instance, the red velvet cake. It is something else, really stunning.
Yes, it is.
But I like the option there of the box, because it's nice that you just wrap the bowl and you give it to her right away. Look at this here, look
Correct.
at
Well,
that.
this one is the chocolate cake, the Mother's Day mini chocolate cake. And I said persons can pre-order still. We're still taking pre-orders. But don't worry, if you didn't pre-order, you can still come in store because we've made sure we made extra because we know how some Barbadians are last minute. That's no problem. We cater for them.
I'm just fascinated by the creativity in the icing. I'm so, how that almost like a little tube that you have stuck on the sides. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Those are chocolate blossom curls. And trust me, it took time just to decorate. You got to put them on. You got to put it in the fridge because you make sure they don't get soft. Trust me, it's a process that goes in.
I can
doing that, and especially when when you're making small stuff, it even takes more time, and it's so time consuming. But you never know. I love it. I just like to create and just do things differently, and just give the clients something different.
Talk to me a little bit though while we're here about a tip, because you want to create. And what's a typical day like you? Do you have sleepless nights trying to figure, okay, wow, I can do this, so I can't wait to get up tomorrow to try that? Is that what happens to you?
Last night I had about 4 hours sleep. And I guess you could see it on my face. I had literally 4 hours sleep. And let me tell you. Because I left the cafe and then you go home. Was just trying to do all the, bits and pieces. Because this is like our 4th day we're open. No, 4th? Okay. Yeah. So, no, 5th day we're open. So, it's still trying to get all the stuff we need for the cafe, still have to, stock it, and then we're still dealing with Mother's Day. So it has been a bit of a challenge. And even prior before that, coming in and scrubbing the floors, doing cleaning up and so on that you have to do, the staff coming and helping, it has been some pretty much sleepless nights. But
understood.
Yeah.
Now,
all the hard work, it will pay off.
Yeah. Is there a way to make a cake for someone who is concerned about the amount of sugar they consume, can you almost sweeten it down so that I can still have the pleasure of having cake? If you know what I mean.
I mean, with the recipes that we have, I mean, you can go half the sugar. We are also looking at doing some keto cakes going forward, where you use like alternative sweeteners and stuff that can kind of lower the calories in the cake. With cheesecakes for sure, I mean, you can replace it with something natural like honey. So I mean, there are options out there.
And I'm saying that because I know oftentimes there are people who are diabetics who think, I can't eat a lot, but I would still want to be able to enjoy it nevertheless. And so that is a possibility. If you want to place an order for that kind of consumer, you can also do so.
Yes, yes. They can just give us a call at 537-2447 and you can discuss it and we can get it done for them.
Cakes is your business, boy. You're doing it so well indeed. So you're open now to be, so between now and Sunday, how up until what time can we say, I want to get mommy a whatever kind of cake?
Well, we're open from 7 in the morning every day until 9 at night. So you have between those hours to come and get something.
So I have to come? You can't bring to me?
Boy, trust me, in here is going to be so crazy over the weekend. I don't even know if we're going to be able to get out. Trust me.
Right.
You know how these cupcake specials and stuff go. It's crazy.
So, but to give you enough time to craft what we're looking for, I can place an order up until what time on Saturday, for instance?
Well, you will probably have to do that up until this evening, maybe 6 o'clock. Because after that, if you didn't order, well, you would just have to come in. Like I said, we will have extras anyhow, so you can get that.
We can get it done. You're there to serve.
Yes.
And so for anyone looking today to get mommy something really sweet for, well, I call it sweet, but you know what I mean, cake-wise, for Mother's Day, let's walk through those options yet again that we can get for Mother's Day. A great way to do so is to get that box set, for sure. If you can show the picture so people can see. That box set that you were talking about, the cupcakes.
Yes, so for the gift box, yeah, you have them until 6 o'clock for that one for sure, because that obviously it has to be pre-made. But the cupcake special, we're going to have a couple hundred cupcake specials going on. So you can come in. You can also pre-order online too on the website, which is cooksfinest.com. But trust me, we will have a lot of cupcakes here that will be on sale, which is 6 for $15. You have the Mother's Day mini cakes. So again, if you don't get to pre-order online, you can also come in. We will definitely have extras. And also too, we have some loyalty gift sets that we're giving away, compliments of loyalty, for persons who place orders for the Mother's Day mini cakes.
Okay, so every reason. So how are you planning to mark Mother's Day, Caleb?
Boy, I'll be working. My brother came to me the other day and said, so what are we doing for mommy? I said, I don't have the foggiest idea right now. She knows that I'm going to be busy dealing with the business, and we will deal with something probably next weekend when I have more time where we can just find something nice to do for her. But nevertheless, you know that we love her, so it's all good.
Well then, Caleb, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Indeed, we want to encourage folks to consider cakes as a wonderful way to surprise and to reward mommy this coming Sunday for Mother's Day as well. Have a good day, Caleb, and all the best with the business.
Okay, thank you. Same to you.
Thank you
very much.
All right, a break, and when we come back, we're going to Yellow Bird. Stay with us for that.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning.
We're joined now by Davina Lane, who is the Executive Director of the Intimate Hotels of Barbados. Davina Lane, good morning to you.
To see you, pleasure
Oh,
to be
there you
here.
are. I thought you wanted
Good
to make me lip
morning.
sync. Good
Oh,
morning
sorry.
indeed. So
Good
it's good to have
morning.
you here. You know, the Intimate Hotels of Barbados, you are responsible as Executive Director for a range of boutique hotels that are so intimate and literally as the name says. So how has it been going? I know things have been tough. How can you describe it?
So yes, things have been tough, but we are plodding along. The group is made up of 44 small, locally owned properties across the west and south coast and the east coast, actually. So across the length and breadth of the island, and we range in size from 4 rooms to 79 rooms, and we have been holding our own. We have many of our members have been around for many years, over 40 years, and we have been holding our own within the tourism market, even now during these troubling times.
I know oftentimes people hear just the big brands, but we want to remind people that, you know, there is something very special about the Intimate Hotels of Barbados. What do you think those special elements that Barbadians need to consider when they're thinking of doing the staycation, or a visitor to our island when they're thinking of coming home and coming in to stay? What makes the Intimate
Right.
Hotel so special?
Right. So, like you mentioned, even at the beginning, we're boutique properties. We're small. We're intimate. So think about that cozy feel, that family type environment, that environment where people know you by your name, where where you really feel at home. And so that's really the type of service that we provide. This type of cozy at home type. And when I say at home, I don't mean that you feel like you are at home, but this level of comfort that
Yes.
you can feel as though you have this warm welcome, and that we really treasure your presence with us. So that's the type of feelings that we wish to evoke within the group. And just also to say that, like I mentioned, so the group is largely made up of only locally owned properties. I know you mentioned that you always hear of the big brands, but people sometimes forget that tourism is made up of locally owned properties. And if you look at the landscape of Barbados, that will give you an idea of who owns the properties as well. So there are people, sometimes think that only a certain section of people own properties, but ownership is very much open to a large cross section of the majority of the population. We have over 51% of our members are actually female,
Really?
female-led and owned properties. 51%. So that will, really give you a good idea there.
Now that's interesting, because when you view the Intimate Hotels of Barbados, they're all successful from my vantage point, and to know that they're led by women is tremendous. Well done.
Yes.
You know
So
what I
not
want
all
people.
women, but yes,
I
majority
know
women
majority.
owned and led. Yes.
What I think people also need to understand is, because it's the intimate hotels and you think intimate small, the same level of service is rendered at each of those intimate hotels. The same access to the amenities that you would get elsewhere, you also get at the intimate hotels.
That's right. So many of our properties have very similar amenities to some of the larger properties. They're located on the beach. They have pools. We have quite a few of our properties as well that or either have restaurants within the property, or very or next to the property, that are affiliated with the property. So yes, the same type of amenities that you would see at some of the larger properties, you will find at the smaller properties. But our key as well is affordability. We pride ourselves on being a brand that persons can afford. You wouldn't necessarily break the bank when you choose an intimate property. You can enjoy your staycation, your meal at an affordable cost.
Do you also provide those conference services as well? Because, that's also a big thing. Either it's a conference or a group meeting of some sort, that kind of a service.
Yeah. Well, actually, we do have a few properties who do have, I think it's only about 2 actually, that have those. If you're holding a very small meeting, maybe from about 10 people, may be able to open that up to a few more properties. But generally speaking, because of the size of the properties, we're not able to do very large conferences. But we do have about 2 members who provide general conference services, etc.
We have quite a large viewership overseas who are watching us right now. And sometimes, when they begin to search for places to stay in Barbados, they don't necessarily find those brands, the Intimate Hotels Barbados brands, easily. Are you under one umbrella location so that as I'm searching for somewhere to stay, I could find you guys very easily?
Yes, definitely. So we are, if you're talking about a web-based platform, so we are on the internet. We have a website. It is intimatehotelsbarbados.com. You can also follow us on social media, Intimate Hotels Barbados on Facebook and Intimate Hotels Barbados on Instagram. And our Facebook and Instagram pages are very active. We promote each of our properties individually on those pages. We promote all the specials that we have on those pages. So we really encourage the viewers to tune into, to really log on to our IG page, Intimate Hotels Barbados, Facebook page, Intimate Hotels Barbados again, and, stay in touch with us on those 2 pages. But like I said, you can also visit the website if you need a much larger breadth of information. And there on the website, you would get, things like all the amenities that each of the properties provide and that sort of thing. You can see photos and that sort of thing.
There is a market for people with disabilities. They want also to experience a lot of what we as quote-unquote able-bodied people experience. Are any of the properties in the Intimate Hotels of Barbados group, are any of them at all outfitted to be able to respond to that, those people with disabilities?
Yes, we do. I don't know if you recall, a few years back, we had a project called Fully Accessible Barbados.
Yes.
And we did have many properties who are outfitted to handle this market. So yes, persons with disabilities can be assured that they can, come to us and we will be able to find somewhere appropriate for them to stay.
I'm so pleased, really, with the range of properties that are under the umbrella of the Intimate Hotels of Barbados. I know for years, as you've said, for a little while, you've existed and you've continued to meet a special niche section of those who come to enjoy what we offer here, our tourism product in Barbados. It's family. It is friendly. It is fresh. It is inviting. It is just awesome, quite frankly. I'm serious.
Yes, so just exactly what you're saying, our size really endears us to those things as well, that cozy feel. Our smallest properties are from 5 rooms, and we have apartment hotels, we have proper hotels, we have hotels, boutique hotels, we have villas. We have 2 villas that are part of our membership as well. So our membership is broad. And like I mentioned, we go right up to 75 plus rooms, and no more than that to maintain that very cozy feel. Like you mentioned, we have been around since the year 2000, and so we really want the public to understand that we are here, we are not going anywhere, and we hope that we can really rally through these times to really continue to serve the public. We also have a large cross-section of persons who work with us. And, within these times, we were really pleased, and we want to thank the public as well for their support during this time, because we have been able to the ones that have been able to do staycations again have been able to employ persons. And that is really important. It's something that is really important to the group, that we, keep our staff involved and on board. And so we're really appreciative to persons who patronize us, because that's something that we want to be able to continue to do, keep our staff on board and serve the general public.
So important indeed. I really want to encourage all of our viewers today, Barbadians here on this island, to consider, to just try it. Have a weekend. Have what we call the staycation, but have an incation now. Go to the weekend and you will see exactly what we've been talking about this morning, just how relaxing, refreshing and affordable it truly, truly is. And it is quite an experience. And so today, Davina Lane, I want to thank you for sharing with us and reigniting for a lot of us, you know, that lost energy as a consequence of the pandemic. You know, it's almost shut down your passion in a certain way, but hey, the passion is going to start again. Now, how are you celebrating Mother's Day, if you don't mind my asking?
Right. So we have many of our properties have specials, either for staycation, weekends, or lunch specials. So please visit our Instagram page to get a whiff of those specials. But the Intimate Hotels Group is also proud to be sponsoring something nice upcoming with CBC. So I encourage the viewers to really stay tuned for that, because we'll be doing that for Mother's Day. And we are really pleased to be on board with the sponsorship of that.
Thank you so much, Davina. All the best to you coming up, all right?
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much for being here.
You're very welcome. Davina Lane is her name. She's the Executive Director of the Intimate Hotels of Barbados. So, 13 to the hour. We want to give you a chance now to win. Yes, let me tell you what we're going to win right now. Folks, you're going to win lunch for two at the Yellow Bird Hotel. The Yellow Bird is one of those intimate hotels of the Intimate Hotels of Barbados. There it is. Isn't that beautiful? And it's right there on the beach in St. Lawrence Gap. Oh, shoot. I am so sorry. I gave away to you. La 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 la. Why did I do that? I'm going to get strangled by the producer. Talking too much, person. But anyway, you're going to get a chance to win now lunch for two and a bottle of wine they've tossed in. Oh boy, just give me a call on 228-5562 or 228-5563. Let's see how well you've been listening right now. So call me now. I'll think of a question when you get on the phone. 228-5562 or 228-5563. Just see if you can answer this question correctly. And when you do, you get yourself one lunch for two at the Yellow Bird Hotel. And you get a bottle of wine to go with it as well. Mind you, this prize can be collected at a later date. Do you have anybody on the phone yet to win this lunch? We do. Good morning to you. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
You know, I'm going to give you a two-pronged question. You better get both right. First question is, where is the Yellow Bird located?
St. Lawrence Gap.
Good. And the second question is, for how long has the Intimate Hotels of Barbados been operating?
Let
me hear you.
Let me see. I'm just going to guess.
Go ahead.
Is it over 10 years?
No, that's a broad guess. Over 10 years is 10.5, or it could be 29, or it could be 100. That's over 10 too. So what is it going to be? Give me a number.
10 years.
I'll be kind with you.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I know.
I'll go with 10 years.
You sure? Man, don't do that. Don't hold on to 10 years. You got part one right, which is in St. Lawrence Gap. You know, I'm being a little bit unfair because we really just wanted to ask you about the location.
Okay.
The Intimate Hotels in Barbados have been operating since 2000. So that makes it, what, 21 years?
21, yes, correct.
If you were listening carefully to Davina just now, you would have heard the answer. But you were listening to me.
I was just trying to get a Mother's Day lunch.
Wow. So how do you intend to spend your Mother's Day?
Well, I'll be working. I have to go to work.
You work in the hotel industry?
No, in nursing.
So you have one of those very important jobs at this time.
Yes, please.
Congratulations to you. We're going to give it to you, that lunch for two plus a bottle of wine, compliments of Yellow Bird Hotel. Anytime you get that chance, enjoy Yellow Bird. Enjoy any of the Intimate Hotels.
I'm so excited. Thank you.
What's your first name, by the way?
Cheryl.
Cheryl?
Yes, please.
Cheryl, all right, girl. Hold on. Don't put down. Don't put down,
Okay.
Cheryl. Stay right there. We will talk to you off the air. She feels so fussy. Happy Mother's Day to you, Cheryl. Compliments us here at the CBC and Morning Barbados in particular, and also the Yellowbird Hotel, with the intimate hotels of Barbados. She's happy. Yellowbird Hotel is located at St. Lawrence Gap, and the intimate hotels of Barbados have been in operation since 2000. That makes it 21 years. We're going to take a break right here. When we come back, action with our girl, Ayana John.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
I just love this next guest as a person. I love this next guest as an artist as well. Ayana John, good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you?
I am so happy to see you again, Ayana John. You
I'm
capture.
so happy.
Look at you, look at you. Just looking at you alone captures your attention. You see what I tell you? She is hilarious indeed. Are you home, Ayana?
I am home, yes. Just trying to get back into the swing of things. The heat.
Yeah, yep, I
Yeah,
know.
it's a lot.
You know, I missed you because you remember that phone call I made to you some months ago when you said to me
Yes.
then that you were going to be traveling, and I was like, cheese and
Yes.
bread. Ayana, why you do that to me? But you're back. Now, Ayana, you know,
Yes.
you have created over the years such beautiful music. You have a lovely album that we play on 94.7, the best 24/7 of your music. And, you know, I feel as though I know every song literally by word now, but, you know, by heart. You know that song, Top Floor? I Just Wanna Fly?
Yes.
I just love that one in particular. Hey, goody, goody.
Oh my
There's so
God.
much that you do. So
Yes.
I really wanted to commend you for
Just-
that alone this morning.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm so glad that they all have the music going, man. Keeping the music alive.
Yeah, it's good music. And you're continuing to do
you.
good music as well. And so you've got
Yes,
Action
thank you.
Action Summer out now. So tell me a little bit
Yes.
about that one.
Well, it's actually the summer version of a song called Action that I released in January of this year. So we're going to have the video for the song come out. We're looking for the 1st of June. So that we can get everybody, you know, still in a summer feeling, still positive. Yeah, we know the pandemic has taken hold, but we still want people to feel excited about summertime because summertime is when all the festivals go on, when all, you know, and we can try possibly find a new way of still enjoying it, you know, whether it's live streaming. You know, we shouldn't give up. This is anytime there's any negative, anything in the air, that's an opportunity to turn it into something positive.
You are so right on that score. And because of who you are as a person, we hear it in your music. this drive to make us all feel good and to feel fantastic in the space. And now it's summer.
Right.
Here you are with Action Summer. So this video is coming out soon?
Yes, this video should be ready by June the 1st. Normally in the United States, summer is like officially starting June the 20th. So we want to get, people in the mood that when summer cracks. You're ready.
You hear it.
Ready. Yeah, so this is the old version, but now we're going to do a summer mix for you guys.
So with the summer mix, what are you infusing now? I love this song, by the way.
Thank you. Well, what we're trying to tell people that whether you're home, enjoy it with the people in your house. Make it an action summer. We actually got a hashtag action summer. Yeah, so we're gonna take it. I actually kind of remixed the chorus. We have some people that are going to be featured in the video that actually sent some videos, because we weren't able to, all assemble. So they sent their videos to be part of it. We still want people to enjoy this period and not to just give up, just because the pandemic has taken hold.
And for sure, here on Beijing TV, we will share it once we have it, Ayana. And that video will be... You see why I like this girl? She's so funny. So this video, this new Action Summer video that will soon be released, where else would it be available? Online?
Yeah, well, the song Action Summer will be on ayanajohn.bandcamp.com. And, people can go, but the song Action has like 25,000 streams on Spotify thus far. So the song is actually realized that the song was actually building. Yes. So we said, well, we should really capitalize on it and do a summer mix. So we're expecting that it's going to get a lot of plays because it'll put people in the mood, and summer is just around the corner. So let's enjoy it.
I can't wait for much more coming from you, Ayana John. There's an album on the way?
There's an album on the way that will be June 21st. It's going to be available on Spotify and Bandcamp.
Listen to me, Ayana. Well, Ayana, I'm wagging my finger at you, Ayana. There's 94.7, the best 24/7, and there's this Morning Barbados program. We got to hook up, sister.
I got you covered. The album is 10 tracks. Plus 2 tracks of like some poetry that I have put together. I just felt like I wanted to bring more of myself to this project. So it's going to be 12 tracks of absolutely fun. We have at least 2 ballads, not as many ballads as I normally do. Yes. But we really wanted really good quality. We wanted to take the listener on a journey. So this is going to be good. On June 21st, the album is going to be on Bandcamp, and it's going to be available to stream on Spotify, and the video and the new song Action Summer will be available June 1st.
That sounds fantastic. Ayana John, we're walking with you. We're going to be there with you every step of the way because you are one of those excellent Barbadian artists. Can't wait for it. Can't wait for it, girl. You're welcome. So thank you for joining us this morning.
I can't wait to share. And thank you, Chris. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, my friend. Take care now.
All right. Bye.
Ayana John. Girl crazy. As we were saying, Barbie's girl head crack. No, by the way, today on 98.1, the one we're starting our Boss Best of Summer Sound campaign. We want to encourage you to join in. At 9 o'clock this morning, brand new to 98.1, Black Rose Supreme will be on the air. So join to listen to him. Tomorrow morning, you can tune in first in the morning, bright and early on 98.1, the one for DJ Touchdown. So some additional things will be happening right through the campaign. Tomorrow night, the Stand Home Party continues. Banded, Square One, and Crossfire. 2 of my favorite local bands, so every reason for you to stay connected with the CBC. That's it for today. Have a great weekend, everyone. Catch you on Monday. Bye-bye.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get